Welcome to the Primetime News on MITV. I am Jumoke Michaels. In the news tonight, Nigeria, Poland sign MOU on agriculture. Federal government sets up committee to review no work, no pay decision. On the foreign scene, Boris Johnson bows out as Liz Truss becomes UK Prime Minister. And in sports, Dinamo Zagreb stunned Chelsea in UEFA Champions League opener. Welcome again. President Muhammadu Buhari and his Polish counterpart, Andrzej Duda, have signed a memorandum of understanding on agriculture to strengthen collaboration between both countries in the sector, pointing out that the MOU becomes necessary in the light of Russia's aggression in Ukraine and the consequent food crisis. Duda disclosed this while briefing journalists at the front porch of the presidential villa, Abuja, shortly after a closed-door session with Buhari. Describing Russia's aggression as unjustified, President Duda noted that his country is supporting affected states and its partner countries to boost agricultural yield. In the energy dimension, he noted that Nigeria, being rich in gas, will ensure a steady increase of supply to Poland and the rest of the European Union. On his part, Buhari thanked the Polish government for opening its arms to Nigerian students whose studies were truncated by the Russia-Ukraine crisis, offering them opportunities for continued education. He noted that both countries have reached agreements to increase collaboration in agriculture, energy, and defense.
Great pleasure to welcome President Duda to Nigeria for the first state visit by a Polish president to Nigeria since the establishment of diplomatic relations between our two countries in 1961. This visit underscores the cordial relations that exist between both countries. It also marks a major step towards further strengthening those relations. It is significant that during this short but important visit, a memorandum of understanding on agriculture was signed and other memorandums of understanding such as defense are under preparation to be signed at a later date.
The federal government has set up a tactical committee to review its no work, no pay stance against striking members of the Academic Staff Union of Universities. This followed a meeting by the Minister of Education, Adamu, with pro-chancellors, chairmen of councils, as well as vice-chancellors of universities. The meeting held behind closed doors and was part of efforts to resolve the 7-month industrial action by lecturers of public universities. The Director, Press and Public Relations at the Federal Ministry of Education, Ben Gong, disclosed this to journalists after the meeting, which lasted for over 2 hours. He said the committee is to also look into issues of increase in the salaries of the university lecturers and come up with workable solutions.
For me, the past 2 weeks have been a very dark period of personal anguish and internal turmoil. I used to see myself that in a climate of frankness and with mutual goodwill, it will fall to my lot to bring an end to the incessant strikes in the education sector. This so far has not proved possible, or at least not as easy, or as quickly, or as straightforward as I think, or as I used to think. Because I know there was a time I boasted that I will be able to stop the strike in 2016.
Meeting, what's made up of 4 pro-chancellors and 5 vice-chancellors to be chaired by the minister to further look at the additional demands ASU is making, particularly the areas where there has been no consensus. As I speak to you, that committee is meeting under the chairmanship of the Minister of Education, Adamu, and they will proceed to meet with Mr. President on the outcome of the deliberations of that committee that has been set. Two basic areas that this committee will be looking at, among other things, is the no work, no pay issue. The second is the issue of remunerations of university lecturers. These are the two areas that they are going to specifically iron out and meet the president. Continuation of what the Breeze Committee did, the offers that were made, what was accepted by ASU and what was not accepted. It's a continuation of the Breeze Committee. And there is ASU. This is.
In the meantime, the federal government on Tuesday said it could only afford 23.5% salary increase for lecturers, while a 35% increment will be enjoyed by professors. The minister also noted that the President, Muhammadu Buhari, warned against signing agreements which the government will not be able to meet. The Minister of Education, Adamu, disclosed this while speaking during the meeting with vice-chancellors and other stakeholders in the university system. He said the federal government can only afford a 23.5% salary increase for all categories in the workforce in federal universities, except for the professorial cadre, which will enjoy a 35% upward review. Speaking at the end of the meeting, the Pro-Chancellor of the National Open University of Nigeria, Professor Peter Okebukola, noted that the government was ready to go all out to ensure that the university lecturers return to school. And to politics. Ahead of the 2023 general elections, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has presented a draft copy of the 2022 revised framework and regulation for voting by internally displaced persons, IDPs, for validation. The chairman of INEC, Mahmood Yakubu, disclosed this on Tuesday at the stakeholders validation meeting for the framework and regulation for voting internally displaced persons in Abuja. Yakubu explained that the validation meeting is born out of the Commission's desire for exclusivity in the nation's electoral process, including the IDPs. He added that the Commission's gesture is also to ensure that no eligible Nigerian is left out of the electoral process on account of displacement, disability, or other circumstances that may limit citizens' participation. The country director, International Foundation for Electoral System, IFES, Ceric Cole, while delivering his goodwill message, restated the commitment of IFES to support the Commission towards achieving a successful implementation of the framework and regulations for voting internally displaced persons where needed.
Number of IDPs as a result of widespread insecurity nationwide. Secondly, to incorporate not only the displacement of citizens arising from armed conflict, but also natural emergencies such as flooding. Thirdly, to align the framework with the provisions of the Electoral Act 2022, specifically Section 24, subsection 1, which empowers the Commission to ensure that, as far as practicable, no Nigerian is disenfranchised on account of displacement by emergency situations. Finally, to align the framework with the National Policy on Internally Displaced Persons 2021. I invite you all to contribute to the discussion at this validation meeting. What is presented to you is essentially a draft. We look forward to your input so that working together we can enrich the framework as well as the regulations for voting by internally displaced persons.
To ensure that this document reflects and enfranchise all IDPs who are eligible to vote. IFES remains ready and willing to support the Commission in this strive and in the successful implementation of the framework and regulations for voting by IDPs. We thank INEC for its continued collaboration and partnership. INEC should be assured of our readiness to continually partner with the Commission in achieving its mission of serving as independent and effective election management body committed to conducting free, fair, and credible elections for sustainable democracy in Nigeria. I would like...
Meanwhile, the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, says it is working towards publishing a comprehensive list of registered voters in Nigeria ahead of the 2023 polls. The INEC chairman, Professor Mahmood Yakubu, said this at the stakeholders validation meeting for the 2022 revised framework and regulations for voting by internally displaced persons IDPs in Abuja on Tuesday. Yakubu said that the list will integrate the fresh voters registered at the just concluded continuous voter registration to the existing register of over 84 million voters. He faulted claim by a section of the civil society groups that INEC was not willing to display the register. Yakubu said that the Commission had displayed the register 3 times from September 24 to September 30, 2021, first quarter, December 24 to December 30, 2021, second quarter, and March 26 to April 1, 2022, third quarter. Still on politics, the gubernatorial candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP in Ogun State, Otunba Segun Sowunmi, says there should be a deliberate effort to ensure that the state government are alive to their responsibilities. He has reiterated its determination to run a government of inclusiveness, which will make use of the traditional rulers who are closer to the people and be less dependent on the government at the Center for Security, Economic and Education. He disclosed this while speaking with newsmen on his agenda to the people of Ogun State. Otunba Sowunmi says he will be open to the traditional rulers and people at the grassroots in order to tackle all their needs by themselves.
Like Ogun must transmute from thinking that the people will just come out of the university and find their way through life without a change in curriculum or without a deliberate policy that puts money into their hands to kick them off. Now, almost tries to, in an academic manner, mirrors the apprenticeship system that we find with the Indigbos, the Southeastern people. That works. It's an apprentice system that even the Keynesians have not spent enough energy to research. If they had, they would have seen that there's a business model working in Nigeria that is working very well. I've spent years studying different models, and I've discovered that that's one model that can help us. As against not allowing them to learn the ropes of the business, just giving them the tools of trade, and they're not.
As part of efforts to control the many destruction caused by flooding, the National Emergency Management Agency, NEMA, has unveiled operational vehicles as well as specialized search and rescue equipment. The Director General, NEMA, Mustafa Ahmed, while unveiling the equipment, said that the vehicles and equipment will be distributed to agencies' offices spread across Nigeria and emergency response teams at the headquarters. Current trends in hazards identification, risk mapping, and actual disasters have shown increasing instances of structural collapses, fuel tanker explosions, other road crashes, and fire outbreaks, which are either isolated disasters or derivative disasters in the rainy seasons, mostly characterized by floods.
In this auspicious occasion, we are commissioning and inducting brand new specialized emergency response operational vehicles and equipment. It is indeed another testimony to the fulfillment of the vision of the federal government of Nigeria on timely and effective disaster response to save lives, safeguard livelihoods, and critical national assets. The operational vehicle, as well as specialized search and rescue equipment to be inducted into operations today, include the following: 3 mobile intensive care unit ambulances, MICUs, 3 incident response vehicle, IRVs, 2 motorized boats, 2 inflatable boats, 9 floodlights, 15 probe cameras, 3 live locators, 15 breaching system, 9 chainsaws, 6 concrete cutters, 9 full body harness, and 9 hose pump unit. Others are 9 hydraulic cutters, 9 hydraulic hose, 9 hydraulic rescue ram, 9 hydraulic spreader.
In furtherance to the implementation of effective and sustainable waste management system in Lagos State, the Association of Waste Managers of Nigeria, AWAM, has called for collaborative efforts among all stakeholders. This was highlighted at the annual conference of the waste managers in Lagos State to fulfill the theme agenda and its subsidy to the waste operators. Towards this direction, this would also go in line with the vision of the state government on strategic development agenda for a greater and cleaner Lagos State, especially the number 2 of the acronym themes agenda, which is health and environment. The managing director of the State Waste Management Authority, Loma, Ibrahim Odumboni, said there was the need to review the current practice and propose new waste management strategies for the state and adopting total recycling and circular economy. While buttressing on the circular economy, the national president of AWAM, David Oriyomi, said it will go a long way in meeting global standard of best practices.
Our business in the last 2 years, there's been a lot of spotlight on us in terms of environment, climate change, recycling. Even sitting here, if you look at the front of your program, is a circular economy, and that is where I told myself that my PSP are already on top of it. You are definitely on top of it. Circular economy is the way to go. We are there before anyone. And I know that I have a lot of learned people among you, a lot. Outside, people might not think that's what we have. But we know deep down that we are the basis of this particular Lagos.
The state government should please allow the PSP operator to take this initiative as it has been written in our report and it has been submitted to them, so that all the recyclers or will-be recyclers will join the association to make sure that we deliver on this. So we implore the governor, though we know that he's a listening governor and he really wants the success for this the issue of waste management in the state. So we are collaborating with him and we are asking him to give us the free hand to do this. So at the end of the day, you will see the report. Because the PSP operators are best suited.
Have specially created pickup points. Your waste is expected to be collected from the doorstep of the waste generator. If you generate your waste in Lagos, that's why I talked about the 2-bin system. Each house is expected to have at least 2 bins. One blue bin and then the other one green bin. The blue bin is for recyclables, while the green bin is for the compostables, organic waste and all that and all that. So waste are expected to be collected from the doorstep of the waste.
The Federal Road Safety Corps, FRSC, said it was targeting minimal road crashes and 0 fatality during the 2022 Ember Months period, as the FRSC has deployed massive personnel to all strategic roads as part of the measures to achieve the target. Already the FRSC has avoiding overspeeding, overloading and use of unsafe tires as the theme of the 2022 Ember Months campaign. The Lagos Sector Commander of the FRSC, Olusegun Olugbemide, stated this while speaking with MITV News in Lagos, pointing out that both commercial and private vehicle drivers need to play their part in ensuring safe driving in the period of September to December, when there is unusually high volume of vehicular movement on the roads.
The theme for this year's Ember Month campaign is as well thought out by our headquarters, and I want to believe it's as a result of the analysis of what they have witnessed over the months, that's from January to date. We have been asked to focus on avoiding speed, overloading, and the use of unsafe tires. We should emphasize more on the required speed that vehicles are expected to run at a particular road space. That's when you're on the highway for saloon, you know you are not expected to go more than 100 kilometers per hour. For commercial vehicles, 90 kilometers per hour. That's if it is safe for you to run such speed. And every excessive speed is going to be strictly sanctioned.
You're still watching the Primetime News on MITV. We'll take a break now to bring you stories from the foreign scene. Welcome back. The new British Prime Minister Liz Truss, one day after the governing Conservative Party announced that she had been elected as its leader, has promised to ride out the storm of economic crisis. Truss was addressing the nation from Downing Street on Tuesday after a heavy downpour in central London, following a meeting with Queen Elizabeth II, who asked her to form a new government in a carefully choreographed ceremony dictated by centuries of tradition.
Good afternoon. I have just accepted Her Majesty the Queen's kind invitation to form a new government. Let me pay tribute to my predecessor. Boris Johnson delivered Brexit, the COVID vaccine, and stood up to Russian aggression. History will see him as a hugely consequential Prime Minister. I'm honoured to take on this responsibility at a vital time for our country. What makes the United Kingdom great is our fundamental belief in freedom, in enterprise, and in fair play. Our people have shown grit, courage, and determination time and time again. We now face severe global headwinds caused by Russia's appalling war in Ukraine and the aftermath of COVID.
Pakistani authorities are struggling to stop their biggest lake from bursting its banks after last-ditch attempts to lower water levels failed. Mancha Lake in Sindh province is dangerously full after record monsoons that inundated a third of Pakistan. 3 breaches of the lake's banks so far to protect areas downstream have displaced over 100,000 people, but it could still overflow, and rescue teams are racing to evacuate many more people who remain at risk of drowning. Canadian police have found the body of one of 2 brothers wanted for a mass stabbing attack that left 10 people dead and 18 injured in the province of Saskatchewan on Sunday. An officer said Damian Sanderson, 31, had injuries that did not appear self-inflicted, but gave no details, while his brother, Miles, is at large and dangerous. He was found at the James Smith Cree Nation, the indigenous community where most of the victims lived. The stabbing spree has rocked the usually peaceful province, with police investigating 13 different crime scenes.
The date and time for that examination to be determined. Miles Sanderson, Damian's brother, may have sustained injuries. This has not been confirmed. But we do want the public to know this because there is a possibility he may seek medical attention. Even if he is injured, it does not mean he is not still dangerous. Miles has a lengthy criminal record involving both persons and property crimes.
We'll take another break now to bring you sport news. Welcome back. Dinamo Zagreb claimed a shock victory over Chelsea in their Champions League group stage opener on Tuesday as they beat the 2021 European champions 1-0 at home thanks to a blistering solo run from Croatian forward Mislav Osic. Zagreb opened the scoring against a run of play when Osic was sent through on goal on a solo counter-attack after running Chelsea's new recruit, Wesley Fofana, and beating goalkeeper Kepa Arrizabalaga with a delicate touch. Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang made his debut alongside Raheem Sterling and Kai Havertz in the front line, but they failed to click while Arrizabalaga was called into action twice to deny Zagreb the second and acrobatic save to parry a shot from distance. Chelsea did not threaten in the box until Tuchel made all 5 substitutions, but Zagreb held firm. Thiago Alcantara has handed Liverpool a major boost by returning to full training ahead of the Reds' Champions League clash with Napoli as he returned to full training at Kirkby this week and is set to travel to Italy with the Liverpool squad ahead of Wednesday's clash at the Stadio Diego Armando Maradona. The Spaniard hasn't featured for the Reds since limping off 50 minutes into their opening Premier League game of the season, away to Fulham on August 6.